So, I've got to admit, guys, these quotes from Mikel Arteta blew my fragile little mind, and I want to share them with you. And then also, look at the underlying numbers. What can we learn from it all together? Of course, we're going into an international break now, Chelsea that is. The fans feeling despondent, discouraged, maybe a little bit down, despite Chelsea being in the top four, well, fourth, and maybe even fifth will get Champions League. So there is that potential added security, though other teams coming up on the rails, mate. And of course, having a 100% win record in Europe. Not bad, really, on paper, but of course everything requires context. We all have eyes. And let's be real, boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, the eye test of late has been failing. You know, nothing in the box, no presence in the 18-yard box, no striker, certainly no goalkeeper of note. And a lot of worrying stuff in between. Of course, Cole Palmer going off the boil. Our top other two goal scorers getting injured, and Madueke and Jackson. So it kind of, sucks a little bit. So we'll talk about the idea of Maresca, who's catching all kinds of strays and heat within the, the Chelsea fan base, and indeed the football media at large. So we're going to get into that. I want to talk about Mikel Arteta's comments, because they did blow my fragile little mind, like I said, and we'll look at some stats as well. So thank you for hanging out with me today, and welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate, as always. I really do genuinely hope that. And yes, thank you for supporting that content, fam. Super simple. If you do want to do something nice for me, why wouldn't you want to do something nice for me? Just drop a like on the video and subscribe if you want to. Hit the bell if you choose to. Let's get into it. Alright, mate, so let's get into these quotes coming from Beanie Man Sports. Mikel Arteta's post-match comments after their 1-0 win at the hands of Chelsea. It was, just a reminder, one of the stinkiest games of football you will ever see. Ever. I was like, since correct me if I'm wrong, and I often am wrong. Possibly since Opta have collected stats, it's the first game without a big chance registered. Is that true? I think so. It was an absolute forgettable game. Mikel Arteta said this quote. Right, Chelsea are the best attacking team in the Premier League by a mile. By a mile, says the Arsenal manager. The stats say it. Well, we'll find out. And it's what I've seen, and what I have seen says it. Chelsea, for those who didn't hear, for those in the back, the Arsenal manager said this. And yes, it stinks. It reeks of Pep Guardiola after a win, gaslighting his opponent. So good, you know. And then when they beat Guardiola, he doesn't compliment them at all. But Mikel Arteta says Chelsea are the best attacking team in the league in open play. But for me, that's just attack. Open what? So not scoring corners and set pieces. Yeah? Open play. But, all we do is see Chelsea play open play. Yeah? It's not like we're playing for, corners and we're good at corners. All we do is open play, passy at the moment. Like I said, I'm not Maresca out by any means. That's just my position. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It's a game of opinions, right? But I was going to a lot of Chelsea games at the time of Maurizio Sarri. I went to the cup final. We were in a cup final against Man City, queuing up to get into Wembley, and Chelsea fans, in a group of Chelsea fans, were chanting F Sarri ball, which was a chant that went around Stamford Bridge. So Chelsea fans were actively singing against this guy's football in a chant with a very rude word, and before a cup final as well, which kind of blew my mind because I was pleased to be there. We lost on pens. The curse of me at Wembley continues. 2 cup finals, 2 losses. I'm not going back. Not until we're good again. So I see it as the dark side of football sometimes. But yeah, Arteta saying we are the best attacking side in the Premier League in open play, which for me is what you want to. I don't care scoring set pieces or whatever. I think all goals count, but you want to see a nice open play goal. And apparently we're the best in the league at attacking by a mile, and the stats say it. So I thought this was a good opportunity to fire up the old X value platform that I'm paying significant amount of money for. So just show you guys stats. So let's do it. And yeah, I'm going to look at the Chelsea stats. And let's do this. So this first here, as the team overview here, Chelsea is the blue line, and the Premier League average for the moment, we'll compare ourselves to other teams in a moment. The Premier League average is the grey line. So actually, off the bat, it looks pretty strong, right? As you can see, it is sort of a bit more ticky-taka, and what demonstrates that is the only things we're less than the average is our crosses, of course, that is. And to be honest, I've got no problem with crossing the ball in to score. But of course, look at our Chelsea team. There's no one to score from crosses. Literally. Both are, Nkunku's actually quite good in the air, but it's not like we've got a Drogba in there or any big striker. Even Jackson, it's not his thing, is it? Like, he can do the odd header, but it's really nice style when he's available. So, yeah, crosses and long balls as well. Playing a long ball over the top. And to be honest, it's not even like we're playing that much less than the average of long balls if you're looking here on the appropriate part of the screen. I'd actually be alright with that. But that to the Premier League average. And of course, we're going to be stronger than the average. We are Chelsea, yeah. And you would expect us to be doing well. So let's compare us to another team. Why not Arsenal, yeah? Arsenal are 2.2 places above us. So, we are the same on goals, which is interesting. Arsenal do put in lots of crosses, which I find really interesting considering, I suppose they've got Mikel Merino now, so they've probably just been putting loads on his head. Who else is going to try and take Havertz? To be honest, like Havertz, for all the sort of niche flair, like what kind of profile is Havertz? Because he is quite good in the air, they did just stick loads of crosses on his head. So that kind of adds up a little bit. Loads and loads of crosses, the same amount of goals as Chelsea. Chelsea take a much higher volume of shots, which, by the way, where are these shots been lately? I ain't seen any shots lately, but Chelsea take a much higher volume of shots than Arsenal. And score the same, which tells you we've had poor finishing. Now, field tilt is the same as well, and that is basically which part of the playing on the pitch. Basically, we're both the better team in most games, playing in the opposition half. That's what that means. Chelsea enjoy more possession than Arsenal. I don't give a ruddy so-and-so about that. As you can see, Arsenal have a significantly better goals conceded ranking. But that means they've conceded less goals than us with how that's being presented. And they've conceded significantly less shots as well. That's interesting. So we concede 1.3 basically goals per game. And they're 0.8 if we're rounding up and down. Significantly different, half a goal nearly in it, basically nearly half a goal a game more than Arsenal, and that is the difference really, because we're scoring the same amount of goals. That's actually really interesting, scoring the same goals. Let's just be sure, it looks pretty darn simple. I mean, wow, right on the money, 1.83 goals per game. Now both teams, Chelsea and Arsenal, their respective fans will tell you they'd like to be scoring more, we need a striker, so they'd probably like to be over 2 goals per game. But that is the difference, guys. We score the same amount of goals as Arsenal, who are comfortably second, but we concede half a goal more per game than Arsenal. But when he says we are the best attacking team in open play by some distance, what could he be looking at? A lot of shots, basically. We get into a position to take a lot of shots, but there is very poor finishing. We take, nearly 16 shots per 90, which is a lot. So why can't any of our freaking footballers score goals? I mean, obviously Cole Palmer in the last few games has been taking a lot of shots and missing. Just out of interest, who else should we look at here that we are sort of similar to? Man City, I think, will probably be helpful because they are, a lot of people think they'll make it and we won't. If you look here, they've got it's very, very similar. Very, very similar for goals. Very, very similar for shots. Field tilt, they are much higher than us, but that's Guardiola down to a T. Basically, really, really pushing, squeezing up the pitch. And they have even more possession than us. We have a better defense than them. Wow. That's pretty interesting. But rather interesting here as well, despite them playing less... Hold on, so I'm getting a little bit confused here. Now, here we go. Long balls, they play a lot less, of course. That's very Guardiola. But they do put crosses in. And I'll tell you why they put crosses in. Because they have a bloody big Nordic giant up top that will eat them up. I imagine if we had Erling Haaland, we'd put slightly... In fact, they should probably put even more crosses than that, really. That's not many. But it's not the Guardiola way. They seem confused. Who else? Let me just do one more for reference. Who would be... Because Bournemouth, they've dropped down a little bit now. We could look at Brighton. They're sort of the... I mean, we could just do Liverpool, couldn't we? Because they're top of the pops and they're so far away from us. 1 second. No, I'll tell you, let's just do Forest. Let's just do Nottingham Forest because they are doing really well this season and they are in third. Wow. All right. They are way ahead of us as well. That is the kind of team that is incredible, really, isn't it? So obviously they play long balls much more. Or they sprint counter-attacks. That's why they got more than us. And slightly better defense than us. This is wild, bro. Because they obviously got slapped like 7-0, didn't they, by Bournemouth? So that really affected their stats. But yeah. We basically, our defense is essentially the same. Our defense is essentially the same. We score more goals than them, but we are behind them in the league by quite a few points. Really, really interesting. Wow, that is really blowing my mind a little bit because look, Chelsea take infinitely more shots. That just shows you how ridiculously good their finishing is. Because they take how many shots per game? 12.14. So we're taking 3.5 more shots per game than them, which is, in terms of an average game, that's a lot more, as you can see there on the graph. So yeah, so we're taking way more shots, dominating the ball in the other half. Possession-wise, we're just way more than them. So this is the kind of football, like in theory, that the sporting directors look at Chelsea and go, right, you know, this is the Man City where you keep possession, you keep field tilt, you put yourself in a position to take a high volume of shots. I mean, to be honest, like, maybe if we even just had a better goalkeeper, it would make such a big difference. Yeah, I think that's probably good, isn't it? I mean, Bournemouth, everyone enjoyed Bournemouth as a wicked team. Just while we're on it, let's have a quick look at them, just out of interest. Because they're really quite exciting. And yeah, they're way more transitional, playing way more long balls. They play way more crosses, but they've got Chris Wood in the box as well. It really does highlight the fact how poor finishing. We're putting in no crosses. I mean, I don't think Maresca wants to play long balls because he doesn't want to play transitional football. He wants to play the game in the opposition half. So fair enough, not long balls, but we could definitely benefit from playing crosses, from looking at these other successful teams in the Premier League, putting in crosses onto a good striker's head, whether it's a sort of Galactico like Haaland, or if it's a sort of like, you know, like a bit more of a workman like Chris Wood. The value is clear as day. But I guess Chelsea do create a lot of chances. You know, let's finally, I'm going to just set this up one more against the Premier League average and show you some other stats here to see if Mikel Arteta's claims has got anything. So here we go. Here's some stats for you. It's at the middle there. Non-penalty XG, 1.9 is our average, which probably is okay, really. Because if you overperform, as you should as a good team slightly, that's 2 goals per game. Maurizio Sarri was like 2 goals per game, and that's non-penalty XG. If you get a penalty every other game or every 3 games, that's juicing up your goals. Okay, well there you go. Our non-penalty XG is 0.12, slightly higher. I'd like it to be cranked a little bit more, which means you want the likes of Sancho winning more penalties. I know he won one the other day that Palmer missed. Our set pieces, our XG from set pieces is probably fine, but we've got Bernardo Cueva in from Brentford, and he was supposed to be a bad boy. So I have no idea what happened there. We're still pretty good from counters, considering that, although I think this has been juiced up from the first half of the season when we were doing really well, where Palmer was just constantly springing Jackson and stuff like that. You know, cutbacks, again, we're going to be higher on average than a lot of stuff. Lower on crosses doesn't surprise me at all, because like I said, we literally have no one to cross to. 1 second. Sorry, I have to clear my throat. Huge pollen. I live out in the sticks and I get mega hay fever. Dribble should be higher. Absolutely. We shouldn't be that close to the Premier League average, purely because Maresca apparently loves wingers. He wants to use wingers, loads 1v1s. Well, in that case, your dribble should be massively, significantly higher than the Premier League average, which it is not. Goalkeeper long ball, understandably under average, because, you know, we've seen he wants a goalkeeper to play out from the back to give Chelsea fans a ruddy heart attack. So excluding defensive third, forward passes, a lot of back passes from Chelsea. That is not good enough. So, guys, I know it must be triggering me constantly clearing my throat, but struggling here. 1-2s, now this is not good enough. Again, considering the type of play we're expected, that should be higher. And yeah, non-penalty XG 1.3, conceded per 90. Yeah, obviously too high. This is too high. For Chelsea to be a team, you know, challenging for top 4 and beyond, it needs to be significantly better than the Premier League average, because that's going to be brought down by your Southamptons, by your Leicesters. We need to be conceding, like Arsenal are, 0.8 rather than 1.3. Something like that. Or certainly underneath 1 XG per game. And there are the stats. So, gaslighting from Mikel Arteta, best attacking team in open play in the league by a mile, the stats say that. I understand how there is underlying numbers that show Chelsea are good. Now, I think that what we've seen there, of course, is a sample size throughout the entirety of the season, whereas that will be skewed a little bit from the first half of the campaign when we were doing well. You know, we were scoring goals, just looking good. People were calling us title challengers, yada, yada, yada. Oh, but but yeah, maybe that was still theoretically a good attacking team. But when you look at the numbers alone, you know, Sancho's been underperforming. Neto has been running around but underperforming. I kind of feel like he's being misused a little bit. Not angry at Enzo Fernandez. I feel like when his numbers are very serviceable considering the role he plays, and when we play well, he plays better as well. But at the moment, the only like performers of late that we can hang our hat on haven't been attackers, have they? It's been like Cucurella and Caicedo, and you know, Cucurella, the defender, who's the only guy popping off decent shots of value. But anyway, I wanted to react to those comments and show you the stats. If this is the kind of content you like, then why not subscribe to Football Therapy, my friends? Yeah, really appreciate your support as always. Thank you again for all the birthday messages yesterday. It's over now. I'm 36. I'm into 36, into my 37th year. So here we ruddy go. Yeah, thanks guys, and I'll see you back here soon, very soon, hopefully. All right, peace.